Hi guys, Reverend Crystal Cox here, and yes, this is the look I'm trying to pull off today. Yes, there's traffic, and yes, I'm a dork. You can call me Reverend Dork if you like. Today I'm bringing you a message from the barnyard. Well, you know, it's not really a message from the barnyard. Okay, I'm bringing you a message from Jesus Christ today. And I don't mean blasphemy by laughing a little bit about it, okay? The thing is that I was in the park today in Tacoma, Washington, and these two Mormons walked up to me and they asked me if I wanted to hear a message about Jesus Christ. I say it like that because this is how I'm talking. Now, would you like to hear a message about Jesus Christ, ma'am? Well, I got ma'am right, so I was kind of glad about that. However, I realized that though I want to be the kind of reverend, and I talk about people that are to be part of my ministry, I want them to be lighthouses. You know, you're walking around and people, they need to know that you are a spiritual person and to get a spiritual message from you, but they don't want to be accosted, and they don't want you to have black slacks on and a white shirt and come up to them and say, they look at me, making sure I'm going to be receptive or not, and they, would you like to hear a message about Jesus Christ? Well, I wasn't exactly hostile. I just said no thank you. I was walking around taking pictures of amazing churches, and I was completely in that spiritual mood, and I was trying to vibrate really high, you know, and be really happy and spread a good message. I often say to people that the streets are my pulpit. My smile is my sermon. My body is my temple. You smiling at someone is bringing them the message of Jesus Christ. Holding the door for someone that has a bunch of packages is giving the message of Jesus Christ, right? You see someone that has dropped a bunch of things and they're under pressure, you know, there's traffic coming or things going on, you help them, you're giving a message of Jesus Christ. All right, you don't have to quote from the Bible, and you don't have to tell them what's wrong with their life or try to get them to come to your church. You are the sermon. And I kind of talk to people about you know, walking around looking like you're a reverend. Well, you want to fit in, and you want to look how you look. And if you look like a dork like I do, then you want to look like a dork like I do. But I was trying to analyze my own perception of that, and I wasn't really offended, but it was a little bit weird for me because you know, I wasn't really intimidated, but I wasn't open to their message either. So, you know, if you had a shirt on, like a t-shirt that had a really cool spiritual message, you know, and maybe something in the back says hope, or have hope, or you know, God bless you, or Goddess bless you, or, you know, breathe, or just something to uplift the people around you, and you just smile and you just walk among them vibrating high. It inspires them to be happy too. When you're healthy and happy, it inspires others to be healthy and happy. You know, when you have two guys coming at you, kind of cornering you a little bit, would you like a message about Jesus Christ? Immediately it's like, no, thank you, right? Even though I'm looking at churches, I'm studying all these churches in this area is just beautiful and amazing, and I'm really feeling spiritually high, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm complimenting people that are smiling, and I'm being all happy, and my energy's up, and I'm in that vibration, but I immediately, with them. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that story, and that your smile is kind of the best way to spread Jesus' message, in my, you know, in my belief. All right, I want to visit with you guys a little bit about bringing back Goddess Church. I'm in Port Townsend, Washington. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff online, video conferencing, and these videos. And, you know, you can obviously watch them or not watch them. You can think I'm a dork, you can think whatever. But when I walk around, like all the places I went today, I realized that people do like my message. And even when I'm a dork, they kind of like it. And, you know, for my haters, you know, I have them anyway. I have haters all over the world. And I have people that like me too. So I'm just going to be me, and this is my life. And if I can make one person smile with each video, you know, at any point, before I die or after I die, then it's worth it to me. This is what I do. Okay, bringing people messages of hope and love, and you know, you can laugh at me, even, you know, hating me makes the hater happy and raises the vibration of Mother Earth for all of us, right? Right. All right. So whatever I do, if you're still watching the video, it's probably raising the vibration. Love me? Hate me? You happy? Okay. So, Crystal Cox, Bringing Back Goddess Church, and we are an all-faith spiritual sanctuary. And I was discussing this with someone today, and they said, well, what are you going to talk about? You know, if you can't really be all faiths, right? No, I can't. And I can't get up there and start talking about the Bible to someone who's not into the Bible. I can't get up there and start talking about pagan stuff who somebody's like, you know, repulsed by that. Or Buddhist and, you know, reincarnation. And if someone's offended by it, they're not going to want that. So you can't just go up there and go, all right, I'm every faith, and then blather every faith, okay? It's kind of not what I had in mind. It's more like, and it's going to kind of change over time, but it's more like a place for people to be who they want to be spiritually. So have an alternative medicine and wellness library, teaching people how to be healthy, in support of organic foods and a healthy body, your human vehicle being healthy, teaching people how to get out of their jobs that they hate so that they can get happy. And there's going to be different nights, different sermons. So say, you know, Christian sermons one night, maybe Buddhists come in to meet another night, and you can go to any night you want, right? So you can go to all of them, and you can be part of that. But we're not necessarily going to intermingle sermons and talks and things. We're going to have them at different times. Which leads me into, I'll come back to this, but I was thinking today about the beef that I have with churches. So many beautiful churches, right? They're these sacred spaces, and they're big spaces, and they have big parking lots, and some of them have really big, green, beautiful lawns and all this space. And let's see, 7 to 10 on Sunday or Wednesday night, or we have a sermon Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning or whatever. So it's like, I mean, and I'm really pushing here, 6 hours a week they're using the building, right? Now you got 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You could be teaching people to be well, to be healthy, healing people, doing energy healings, doing body work, spiritual healing, teaching people about organics, right? You could be doing spiritual counseling. You could be doing Bible studies. You could be doing spiritual studies. You could have Buddhist gatherings. This is a building that could be open to all denominations at any time. Okay, so what we want to do is set up, different times that people can come in and do that. They can come in and co-counsel. They can have meetings and have it open 7 days a week. I'm not going to be doing this alone. I'm going to have help, and Spirit tells me that more help's going to just keep coming to me and coming to me. My intuition is really high now. I'm vibrating really high with what it is that I want to do. I wanted to do an alternative healing clinic sort of deal for about 20 years, and the last 5 it's been really strong as wanting to do it as a church, because I am intensely spiritual. Everything I do is spiritual. My work online fighting corruption has been spiritually guided for me. My life has been very connected to spirit my entire life. When I was young, I used to put my Bible in my backpack, and I would put venison, which is deer meat, in tin foil, the little Worcestershire sauce and some salt. I get my matches and newspapers, and I get my Bible tapes, and I would just go down to the lake, and I had my motorcycle, and I'd just go down there and I would pray, and I would read the Bible, and I would make myself my dinner, and I would spend all day down there. And I was raised an only child. It turns out when I was 21, I found out I have a brother and sister, but I was raised as an only child. And this lake was like just kind of right out my back door, it was probably like a mile, and so it was kind of like just an extension of my bedroom, and I really loved to be there. And so I studied the Bible a lot when I was a kid, and I was a Jehovah's Witness, but I was never baptized, so I'm not shunned. Which is a good thing, right? Which we're not going to be doing at Bringing Back Goddess Church. So I do know a lot about the Bible, but I certainly don't know a lot. You know, like Pastor John Collins and Bringing Back God Church, I mean, he can just go into Scripture any which direction, right? And I can't necessarily do that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. 7 days a week, these buildings should be available for something spiritual, okay? But if you're all into, one true God, and this is the only way, and we're going to do a sermon this particular time, and we're going to collect your money and whatever, but yet these buildings are like tax exempt, and these buildings are taking up all this prime real estate, and there's nothing being done in them, right? Surely there's a need in the community for people to have a place to pray, meditation rooms, spiritual libraries, and yeah, they can be manned all the time, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of spiritual leaders out there right now who know this stuff and who need a platform to share it, to teach spiritual teachings. So Bringing Back Goddess Church, one of the things we're trying to do, and we're doing this in conjunction in a way with Bringing Back God Church, but we're going to have different churches because we have a different belief system. But we're all inclusive, so we're also into, the evangelistic one true God sort of thing, because that's, includes everything. But the idea of having places that are holy and sacred, places, where people have prayed and people have hoped and dreamed, for decades and decades and sometimes hundreds of years. In the United States, probably not a whole lot of that, but of keeping sacred sites sacred. There's a whole lot of churches that are being torn down because, well, with the Catholic churches, a lot of them were sold because of, bad things and needing to pay off lawsuits. But in some places, people they don't want to go to churches anymore with one true God. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be like, hey, if I commit a sin according to your book, then I'm going to hell and blah, blah, blah. They don't want that, okay? They don't want to be judged. They want to be loved. They want to be healed. They want to be nurtured. Okay? They intensely crave a spiritual connection. The thing is some of them don't even know where to begin. And in most towns, they only have like a Christian church that's very like, you got to do it this way and you got to do it that way, and you can't smoke and you can't cuss and you better not be having sex and you better be married if you are thinking about sex, and if you're thinking about sex, and all of these rules. There's no rules. Your relationship to spirit is between you and spirit. There are no rules, okay? If you're doing something that's affecting someone else's life negatively, stop, okay? And a lot of people to me say, well, I'm a hypocrite in saying that because I do things that affect people negatively, but what I do is I give voice to victims of corruption, victims of abuse, victims of horrible things, and you can't not hurt anybody when you're a spiritual warrior. But that's not necessarily what I teach people to do, because people don't necessarily do what I do. Okay, so if your theology, your religion, your spirituality is judging and hurting the way other people connect to God and spirit, well, then I don't want to say it's good or it's bad or it's wrong, but in my belief system, it's just not the way to go. Okay, that's not what I believe, and that's not what we're going to be doing at Bringing Back Goddess Church. Okay, so the idea is to have churches, and probably as many places as we can, as the help just rises and the money comes in, and we'll just see, what Spirit brings on that. But the idea is to be open every single day. Someone needs to pray every day. Someone needs a place to meditate. Someone needs to get out of their house and go somewhere and know that they matter. Someone needs to not want to die, or not want to just be hopeless and just laying there watching TV and have no clue what to do to help raise the vibration of Mother Earth, to heal themselves, or to be happy in any way. So Bringing Back Goddess Church is about having books and videos and people and life and plants and maybe some vegetables growing and vibrant pictures and spiritual pictures and things that make people feel alive, so they feel like they have a reason to live. And to go to this place any day of the week, so you can pray, so you can meditate, so you can study spirituality, so you can find a reason and a meaning, but not be judged on that reason or meaning being any specific religion. Okay? What it is to you, what's sacred to you. If you study Buddhism 5 years within the walls of our church, and you decide that that's wrong and you don't want that, and you switch to Christian and you denounce Buddhism, you're still welcome within the walls of our church, a holy sanctuary, a house of hope, a place of faith, a sanctuary of healing, a place to connect. And it's not necessarily about sitting there and visiting with the pastor, the minister, the priestess that's there, because, you know, we are mostly, well, we're going to be entirely women-led. We're not exclusive of men in any way, but it is a women-led. It's bringing back the goddess and the feminine divine, and I'll do more videos about that, because it is about equality among men and women. It's not about going from a patriarch to a matriarch. It's about equality. So anyway, it's not, as I was saying, it's not necessarily about just talking to this person. It's about you being shown tools to do in your own life, okay, in your own relationships, your relationship to your own body, to people, to your children, your relationship to spirit, because that is yours, okay? You can't get dependent on spiritual counseling all the time. You have to develop your own way. But you can't often do this, you know, your house when there's, well, I'm just giving examples of my world of growing up, you know, secondhand cigarette smoke and you know, in NASCAR races blaring and people yelling and fighting and chaos everywhere. Where are you going to go to pray, right? You can, but you know, there's nature, but in some places it's even hard to be in nature, you know? So it's like if you had a place where you could just go and just pick up a spiritual book and read something inspiring or have someone smile at you and accept you. Okay, now that person, that spiritual, like, I don't have to condone what you do. Okay, you don't necessarily need to confess your shit to me. Excuse my cursing. But you are a human being. You deserve love. You deserve hope. You deserve faith. And you deserve a place to go to get spiritual nourishment based on what you want. Okay, these massive, amazing, magical churches all across the land are empty, what I can see, 90% of the time, if not more. Why? These are amazing places that should be open for people to go and sit in and pray. You know, I was going through a lot a few years back, and I was in Key West, and it wasn't really a vacation, it was a business thing, and I just lost everything in my life, and I was going through a breakup after 16 years, and I was really struggling. And on top of that, I'm walking the streets and it's hot. It's like walking through water, like humid and just horrible. I had a blister on my feet, and on top of that, I had to go to the bathroom, right? And there's nowhere to go to the bathroom. Everywhere there's signs, we don't have public restrooms, we don't, you know, it's just, and I'm just feeling really down, and I'm walking and I'm alone. I had went there for a couple of weeks with some other business folks, but this particular week I was alone. And I was walking downtown, and there was this big, beautiful, amazing church, and it was open, and it had a beautiful, amazing, large restroom, and it had wooden pews, and it had pictures of Mary and Jesus, and it felt sacred and it felt wonderful. I spent 3 hours in that church praying and writing and hoping for a better day. Now these churches the doors are closed all around the United States. The doors are shut, they're all locked up, you know. Yeah, you can't just have people coming in and doing bad things. I mean, and, you know, destroying the property and whatever, but there's got to be people out there who would woman places like this to keep them open so that people had a place to come in and pray. Like this place, I mean, I could have done things in there. I mean, had spray paint, I don't know. There was nobody watching me, you know, so maybe there's just enough of a blessing, enough love, enough light, you know, angels, spirits to protect places that people won't do that kind of stuff if you just give them a place of hope, a place to get out of the heat and get out of the pain, get out of the suffering and get out of people's judgment and everything they're dealing with, and just have a place to sit and pray. Just a quiet place to sit and pray. Wooden pews, you know, brick, historic places where people have prayed for hundreds of years, the energy of it, pictures of Mary Magdalene, pictures of Jesus, spiritual imagery. These are what we need, and we need them everywhere. And these churches that are shut down, or that are only open a couple days a week. Well, I want to change that. One town, one person, one minister, one pastor, one priestess at a time. One reverend, one house of hope at a time. Anyway, we'll talk again real soon, and God has blessed you all.